Welcome back to Adventures with Rosie.
In today's video we are planting our dream orchard.
Yeah, let's do it. So the plan is quite an ambitious one. We want to make this whole left side of our bottom paddock of our property, from where I'm standing right here down to that little animal house down there where there used to be a couple of miniature horses, down that fence line there, which is our boundary line. We want trees down here, so we want 2 rows of trees offset going the whole way down there. So we've already started. We put some feijoas in that we got on special a while ago down here. We put 5 feijoa trees in, a mix of varieties for the cross-pollination, and we've just put this black plastic down to kill the grass. You can probably see in the background Chelsea is standing on top of our pile, which is still there a year later. This is our scrap pile from when our pine trees came down. But what we've been doing is mulching. We've been mulching like crazy over the last few weekends. With that wood chipper we bought at Field Days, we're basically pulling out the sticks from the pile, running them through the chipper, and we've been putting this beautiful wood chip all through our property. And so that'll be the plan down here. When this grass has died off, all of this here will be mulch. They kind of say for fruit trees you should mulch a ring around the tree as wide as the branches will be, which is pretty huge, and it's going to be a big undertaking, but it's 2 birds with 1 stone. We get that pile down and we mulch our trees, and then we don't need as much water in the summer. Our soil here in Taupo is very porous. It's because of the volcano and all the pumice. We don't get standing water here, and the ground doesn't retain a lot of water, so we need to mulch in order to keep that moisture in for the summer. So first 5 trees are in. We have another 3 that have arrived today, and then another, I want to say 11 on the courier. A bunch of different varieties, some weird sort of hybrids. So yeah, we're just going to keep going down there. I've got some holes to dig, and we're just going to get into it. So down here on the flat bit of the land, we don't actually want to mulch this entire area, because this is probably 10 meters to the fence and then 50 meters that way. It would be a lot of wood chip. So what we're going to do is mulch around each tree, big ring, and then Chelsea actually tilled all the soil. We hired a tiller, and she went through and smoothed it all out, because there are a lot of clumps and lots of mounds of wood chips from when the trees came down and that sort of thing. So smoothed it all out, and we will do a big ring of bark around each tree, and then ideally we'll be able to mow around them on the ride-on lawnmower. Maybe down the line we might, I've always had this in like a vision in my head of animals or something under it, some sheep lying in the shade under these big fruit trees maybe. But yeah, for now we'll just ride on lawnmower around the various trees. We were having to weed eat this area, and it was proving very time consuming. So yeah, Chelsea's been tilling and raking and putting lots of grass seed down where we want the grass, and then frost cloth to keep the birds off the grass seed and eating it. So bit of a labour of love, but yeah, 2-3 years from now, it's going to look good. So this is what our trees look like when they arrive. Believe it or not, there are 3 trees in here. These came from Kohanga here in New Zealand, Kohanga Gardens, and these are what we call bare rooted trees. So unlike if you went to a garden centre and you bought a tree in a big pot of soil or a bag of soil, these roots are bare. And this tree, or these 3 trees in here, are essentially dormant. And kind of how it works is that they only ship trees at a certain time of the year. So we bought these 4 months ago. I think they released their catalogue. We jumped online, we bought the trees. When they are ready to be put in the ground, they send them out to you. So we've done a lot of that prep you see down the bottom ahead of time, because as soon as these arrive we need to get them in the ground, because they're ready to start sprouting again. So yeah, we've got a couple of plums in here and a spring satin plum cot. Now, I'd never heard of a plum cot before. That is a hybrid plum apricot tree. So I'm pretty excited to see how that turns out. But yeah, bare rooted trees. It just means they're really easy to post. Obviously not posting big bags of soil. It does mean though that you just can't get these any time you want. You do have to order them. What else we got in here? Black Doris. So you order them and then they ship them out as soon as they're ready to go. So hopefully the courier tomorrow is going to bring some more bags like this, and we'll get planting. Look what's arrived!
Part 1 of 3.
Oh, there are more coming. There's more coming apparently. Cool, let's go unwrap them.
So this batch is from the plant store online. We weren't able to get all the ones that we wanted from Koanga. They had supply issues this year with the weather that we've been having. So we'd got a few from them, and then we made up the rest of our order with ones from the plant store and also trees for bees. Because a lot of fruit trees, you need a specific variety to cross-pollinate with ones that we were wanting. We had to be quite choosy in what we were going to order, so we kind of picked, I think we've got 3 apples, 3 pears, 4 plums, a couple of nectarines, a couple of peaches. I'm sure there's more that I've forgotten.
Chelsea had a big like flow diagram going on of which ones cross-pollinate with which ones, because we couldn't, on some websites it would say this tree needs this tree in order to pollinate, but they didn't sell the tree you needed, so you had to go on another site and buy it.
Yeah, and then that tree needed a different variety. So we kind of picked like 3 or 4 varieties per type. So I think we got 3 plums and a plum apricot hybrid, so that'll be interesting. This
is a peach, a black boy peach.
And then with the plums as well, you have to be careful because there's Japanese or European varieties, so they don't cross-pollinate with each other, so the varieties you pick have to be from the same region. So we kind of just picked one that we knew we really wanted, and then picked another couple that would complement that one. And yeah, had to buy it from a few different stores to get the varieties we were after. So we'll see how we go. We've also got a really nice compost mix to plant in with it. We've got slow release fertilizer tablets, and we've got a bunch of blood and bone as well. So we're going to give it a really good start.
We're going to town on these because these trees, what do these trees cost?
They're about $50 each for a bare-rooted fruit tree.
They're quite substantial, as you can see, like
decent size. And they ship them out when they're dormant, so they're just starting to bud now, so we'll get them in the ground as soon as we can, and hopefully they'll come away nicely.
So this batch we got a nectarine, Venus, peach, rod, whatever that is.
It's probably been grafted onto a different base, so often you'll get that for them to fruit nicely. They'll have been grafted.
This big boy here, which has got loads of buds on it already, is a peach black boy. 4 by 4 meters this is going to grow to, so you can see why we're trying to space out those holes.
We've got another nectarine, we've got a red Bartlett pear, we've got a Satsuma plum. There you go, Satsuma plum. A winter Nellis pear and Fuji apples.
I thought Satsumas were oranges. Yeah, so pretty happy with these. There is a little bit of mould on some of these smaller ones, maybe just because they've been in the post.
Yeah.
And obviously all not the same size, like this peach black boy. It's such a strange name. Yellow-skinned peach with a dark wine blush. Hey. Really substantial. So, yeah, a lot cheaper than we could probably get them for in our local garden centre.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And it's just having the ability to pick the varieties, right? Because you go to, like, as much as I love Mitre 10 for plants, you go there and there's, 2 or 3 varieties, but they don't necessarily pollinate well with each other, so...
Yeah, we want to do this once and do it right, because we're spending a lot of time digging holes and raking.
Yeah.
So when the sun comes out, we're going to go down and put these in the ground, I think. Chelsea's got a bit of a map drawn out of which ones are going where. We realise we don't have enough space, but that's maybe a problem for another day when the other ones arrive.
We were maybe a bit overzealous in ordering.
Yeah. But I mean, we do plan to live here in this house for at least while the kids are at school. So we're talking, we got 15 years of school ahead of us, so we're going to be here a while. So hopefully in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we're getting some decent fruit.
Yeah.
Let's go put them in the ground. These are massive. I'm impressed with that. So one thing that I did forget to mention is that these trees come with a marking of where they need to face north. So in the nursery when this tree was growing up, this bit of paint was facing north. So they recommend when you put it in the ground that you line that up with north as well, so that they continue to grow, I guess in the same shape as they were since I've been raised. So kind of interesting. I've never seen that before on trees, but we'll make sure they face north. Yeah.
So we go nectarine, go Santa Rosa, plum, plum cot.
Well, it is freezing cold this morning here in Taupo. The sun has not come out and we had a frost overnight, so it's very cold, but we're excited and we kind of need to get them in the ground, right?
Yeah.
So we've got a mix here of compost, which we actually bought from a store. It's a 50-50 mix of compost and Taupo soil. So our local topsoil mixed with compost, so it's not too hot. What have you got?
Got some slow release fertilizer tablets.
Slow release fertilizer, we've got some blood and bone and
Root blast, we got some wood ash.
Wood ash, we've got a whole lot going on.
Yeah.
We're going to put it all in the hole, mix it up. These trees, I'll show you what the roots look like actually, because I don't think I showed that on camera. But a bare rooted tree looks a bit like this. The roots are obviously cut on purpose so that they sprout, but you can't put that in the ground too deep or too shallow. So ideally we need to get this in the ground the same height that it would have been in the nursery. So we've dug big holes, yeah, lots of digging down here, and then we're going to build them back up with all this primo stuff, whack that in. We will stake them probably at some stage. We don't get heaps of wind down here, but we probably stake them anyway, and then we're going to chip around them. So lots of steps, lots to do down here. We're going to do all our plums this morning and nectarines. We've got to dig a few more holes down there, so yeah, let's get the first one in the ground. This video is going to be a two-part series. Part 1, planting. Part 2 will come out about 3 years from now when we actually get some fruit. Alright, well tree 1 is done, aside from the mulch. If the weather plays ball, we'll put the rest of the trees in the ground. I'll grab the chipper and we're going to do heaps of wood chips around the bottom of this. Probably at least 1 metre to start off with and build that up. The more we have in chip, the better the tree will do, and also the less mowing we have to do or weed eating around it, so we'll go crazy. We've still got our big messy firewood pile full of sticks to chip. So yeah, that's the plan. Chelsea's getting started on number 2, just about done, and we're just going to work our way that way. Got some rather impressive earthworms in the soil. Look at that.
Oh, thanks. Okay, we are 6 trees down out of 15, still a while to go. We did delay things a bit by doing the rotary hoe. We weren't planning on levelling the ground, but we thought before the trees go in, it would actually be really helpful for later on. So.
This video probably doesn't look that exciting because you can't see the orchard behind us. It looks like a bunch of sticks we put in the ground, a bunch of expensive sticks, but it's kind of a big, or another step for us in making this land a bit more sustainable and growing our own trees, our own fruit, growing our own trees. So we've been excited about this for a long time. I think I said earlier we ordered these trees in March? April?
Probably February.
Yeah, we ordered them and paid for them quite a while ago, so it's exciting because we've been thinking about our very own orchard for a long time. So yeah. Off camera we're going to do the rest. We've got a bunch of raking, a bunch more holes to dig, trees to plant, rinse and repeat. But yeah, we're excited, eh?
We're getting there.
I think next video we're going to go away somewhere in the caravan because Chelsea's been putting in some long hours on the property.
My body is not keeping up with what we're doing.
I think we might find a campground with our hot tub. That might be the goal in the next video. So stay tuned and we'll see you then.